everybody. So I just wrapped another Q&A session with the Hasbro Star Wars team. I got to talk to Patrick, I got to visit with Chris, and we had a great chat. And I got to ask them 5 different questions that I had previously submitted for approval. And I'm really excited to share with you what their responses were to these questions. Some interesting information, little bits, tidbits of news here and there. So in this video, you will see other people in our clips that other sites and influencers who did participate. It's not fair for me to share everybody's responses to their questions. If they want to create their own content, their own videos, their own podcasts, their own web articles, whatever it is, it's only fair that they are able to do that for themselves. So I'm only going to share the responses I got to my questions. And there's some good stuff here, guys. So let's get right down to it.
Alrighty, Victoria from Victoria's Cantina. How's it going, Victoria?
And how are you guys doing? Thank you for doing this once again.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate seeing you guys. So you recently revealed a new Princess Leia for the Black Series archive line. The press images appear to show the figure with the original head sculpt that appeared in 2016 instead of the vastly improved head sculpt that appeared in 2017 in the 40th anniversary Black Series line. So can you please confirm which head sculpt the archive figure will utilize?
It should be that original head. Our approach, kind of generally speaking, with archive is to take those figures that were first offered and maybe not available to all fans or in more limited quantities, just harder to get, and bring those back as close to original as possible, but with, in archive's case, updates like the photoreal deco to the face, but still trying to bring the same form to fans.
Okay, so it has the 2016 head sculpt, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. This is a really frustrating answer. I mean, the 2016 Black Series Leia came out like 3 months before the 40th anniversary Leia, so the fact that they're not utilizing that vastly improved head sculpt really quite kills me, because it's tremendously better. It really, really is. And it would look so much better with photoreal than that terrible, terrible Grumpy Cat Princess Leia head sculpt that we saw in 2016. So I'm really disheartened about this particular answer, and I think they forgot, honestly. I think is probably the more realistic answer, that they made that change. It's been a few years now, so yeah. All right, so the recent Lucasfilm 50th anniversary, the Vintage Collection pre-order process at Walmart, the Way with Endor Leia, Pat Blue, and ATST driver seemed to go over very, very smoothly. Walmart didn't have any restrictions. You could order as many as you wanted. It went really, really smooth, so we're really happy about that. But unfortunately, it kind of ended there, because the way that they've been shipping a lot of the figures, particularly Endor Leia, has been very disastrous in some cases. I've seen some that are just folded up like origami and just kind of like shoved into a mailer, and it seems like it would take more effort to do that than to just put them in, normally. But that's how some of them are showing up. So after they improved the process as well for the Incinerator Trooper and the Deluxe Mando figures, those arrived pretty well. So this was a little surprising to see. So since Hasbro always says that the packaging is part of the product, especially with the Vintage Collection, would you consider a way to better ensure that the retail partners understand that position, and that perhaps by offering some options, for example, could be like a clamshell that maybe a couple dollars more, you could get a clamshell with your figure, kind of like what you guys did back in 2004 to 2006 with vintage style figures, or even offering, maybe making a way for retailers to carry like a complete case assortments that they could ship to customers as well.
Absolutely, yeah, no. So a few different things in there. I think high level, like we're always trying to improve things, and we improve things a little bit, and then other things pop up. But it is good to hear that, that was the first time we kind of separated the pre-order from the reveal, and it was to make sure that it did go smoothly. And so we were happy to hear that fans had that experience. But you're right, we do feel that the packaging is as important to the product. We're committed to that. I think 2 things here. One, we do read the comments, we read the feedback, and we share that as much as we can, because our retail partners, within their constraints, want to improve the process just like we do as much as possible for the fans. Things that are in our control. This is some news we're breaking here this morning. I think I teed it up in the first round of interviews as not big news, but people have been excited, so that's good. In terms of what we can do as Hasbro, starting with items later this year, early 22, sometime in that time frame, we are moving to thicker cardstock on vintage and retro items. So yeah, exactly. We're excited about it. It's something that's kind of in our power to do. Again, the process takes a while, and so it's not going to happen next month. It will be, in the next several months, later this year or early 2022. But it's not something that's free to Hasbro. But again, it's important to us to do what we can to help make sure that those items get to the collectors in the condition that they should be. So that's one thing we're looking at. Again, in terms of case packs, that's something that we can suggest, but ultimately it's at the discretion of the retailers. Clamshell isn't something we're looking at right now, but again, open to suggestions, and we'll think about things for the future.
Okay, thanks, Patrick. All right, so really no surprises here with Patrick's answer regarding how retailers handle shipping. That's totally on them. It's outside of Hasbro's control. So my question was intended to target what is in Hasbro's control. Can they do clamshells? Can they do case packs, complete case packs that can go to retailers and then they can sell those in turn to customers? I do really like what he said, though, about thicker cardstock is going to be coming to the Vintage Collection. We've been asking for that for a while. The Vintage Collection 1.0 had thicker cardstock, so if they're just going back to that, then, that's perfectly fine. That's all we want is for these to have a better shot, I guess, at arriving to us in mint condition, because we all want to receive these. If you're a carded collector, if I collect both, then, you want to get one that's going to arrive in really nice condition. And yeah, hopefully Walmart gets on the ball. I've been talking about this topic for a long time. A lot of collectors have, and it's really nothing new. It's no less disheartening now than it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, to open up a package and see, your precious Vintage Collection figure just like crushed or folded or just unnecessarily damaged, just because of a lack of training or who knows what. And, I understand, these are big box retailers. We're talking about Walmart, Amazon. These workers are getting paid, not much. And, I can understand if, to them it's a toy, right? They're going to ship it a certain way. And, they're being judged on metrics. How many things can they get out per hour? So, it's nothing on them. I just think, better training. Or maybe it just needs to come down from Hasbro, to the retailers, that these items, the packaging is part of the product. And, we need to make sure they arrive to the customer in satisfactory fashion. All right, so spinning off of my last question, the pre-order process for the Vintage Collection exclusives at Walmart has been really great lately. However, this hasn't been the case quite for Black Series. And I'm thinking of Crosshair. I'm thinking of Captain Rex, which didn't go up when they were supposed to. And then Walgreens, the 212 Trooper didn't go up at all, still hasn't gone up. So, it's no surprise. It can be really frustrating when collectors take time off from work and arrange their schedules expecting a pre-order to go up at a certain time, and then it doesn't happen, or it goes up a little bit later and then they miss it because they had to return or to whatever they were doing. The Vintage Collection Bad Batch 4 pack is another example, something that did sell out in minutes that you just mentioned. And I missed it too. It actually got announced like really early at West Coast time and then went up for pre-order before I was even awake that day, so I missed it. So firstly, what specifically are you doing to improve the pre-order process so that not just some pre-orders are successful and not others? And going forward, could you consider announcing things with enough notice so that perhaps we are aware pre-order is going to go up with more than a couple hours notice?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll try to address all those points in reverse order because the last one's freshest in my mind. Yeah, moving forward, we will always try to give notice that pre-orders are coming. That was a miss on our part with the Amazon item. We've been doing that more with live streams, moving to pre-orders happening 24 hours after the reveal so that, they're not right after and fans have a little time to kind of digest the news and then plan to get in on the pre-order. We've done this with more retail exclusives. Obviously, I think I mentioned previously the first wave of the original 96, the vintage original 96, revealed in January, went for pre-order in March. You mentioned those as well. And additionally, as we've stated, for some items, we just won't have pre-orders. Like, we think it's a better experience for them to be revealed and then just go on sale at the normal time, like we used to do it. You mentioned the Walgreens one as well. That was a miscommunication on our part. There won't be a pre-order for that one just because we didn't feel confident that it would be a positive experience. And so that one, I believe it's later this year, early 22 is when that one will go on sale. And that'll just go on sale like normal. And so it'll be kind of a return to that process. So we are exploring those different things, and it's a good suggestion to make sure we provide time. We will absolutely do that moving forward. And we're open to suggestions on how to continue making that process one that's positive for fans in terms of what we had in the past and not negative.
All right, so he acknowledged that, a couple of these are some mistakes. The Walgreens 212 Black Series Trooper, was never going to go on pre-order, and they just miscommunicated that. And, he said that the Vintage Collection Bad Batch 4-pack, that they should have, announced that sooner. And I am a little bit sour about that set because I did miss it, so that kind of hurt. But it's really nice for him to say in the future that they will announce these things with notice before the pre-order goes up. So that is really good. I know this is not an exact science, pre-orders, retailers and, timing, all that. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I get that. But it can be better, I think is the main thing for me. It can be better and it should be better, right? So hopefully whatever they're doing behind the scenes to address these issues will continue to improve and to get better. So you announced the Navarro Cantina for the pipeline, and we're really excited to see this playset format continue. It's really neat stuff. And while that's exciting, we don't have nearly as many figures as we would possibly need to populate it in the way we do, for example, the Mos Eisley Cantina. So by the time the Navarro Cantina comes out, will we have more bounty hunters and aliens from The Mandalorian to put into our Navarro Cantinas?
Well, our hope is that ultimately you have all those characters. Immediate plans, I don't have anything for you specifically, but I will say our intent with the Navarro Cantina is that our focus there was the kind of those final episode scenes where it's more about Moff Gideon and his troopers, and then kind of our core cast, and obviously the Death Trooper is part of that offering. But that was more of our focus for that playset, is a way to build out that final scene with those core characters. But yeah, like you, we want to have every character we can eventually to build out all those scenes. It's just a matter of time and priorities where they fit with the line. So
great, thanks, Chris.
Yeah, and that's a bit of news. We're experimenting with different things. Obviously, we've experimented with pipeline reveals. That was the first time we had pipeline revealed something that was not a figure. There's honestly just not a lot of great images of the Cantina in those final episodes, but yeah, that is the focus, is that showdown. And so we're excited for the product reveal of that item to bring that to life whenever that happens.
Okay, cool. So this one caught me off guard a little bit. They do intend to get around to all of the bounty hunters and aliens from Navarro, from the Navarro Cantina scenes. And I, as a Cantina alien creature, all the weird stuff about Star Wars has always been my favorite stuff about Star Wars. And I want to see those characters. Chris from Hasbro did say that the focus is for this particular playset, that their intentions were around the final episode of season 1 of The Mandalorian. So I think we will have most of the characters needed to reenact that. We won't have the client, so hopefully that's on their radar. And then also the droid that is bartending at the bar, which I think we can reuse the upcoming Death Star droid from the 50th anniversary Lucasfilm exclusive. So I'm really excited to see what happens with this. More playsets is always a great thing. And yeah, if they can get around to like Patrick said, this is news, to doing more bounty hunters and aliens for the Navarro Cantina. If they do truly want to do all of them, let's do it. Let's get them, but let's not wait 10 years to get them all. Get it while it's hot. Hopefully they do it pretty soon. All right, so continuing on the theme of cantinas, the new Black Series Obi-Wan, Ponta Baba, and Dr. Evazan is a really exciting reveal because it has been so long since we got a Cantina alien in 6-inch, I think 2013 Greedo, and one of the first waves. And that was 8 years ago. I think for Vintage Collection, the last newly told figure we got was Mosip back in 2015. So generally speaking, newly tooled aliens are far and few between both scales. And while we know you can't speak to specifics regarding unannounced releases, is there any hope in the near future for collectors of both Black Series and TVC when it comes to more newly tooled or never before offered Mos Eisley Cantina characters? Hashtag time for Tonica.
I knew that was coming. Is she an alien now? I don't know. In any case, for Cantina aliens, again, like you said, we can't comment on the future. We know that the Cantina is a beloved setting for both vintage and Black Series fans. It obviously is in the original trilogy and in New Entertainment. And so it's a great locale. And we know that those aliens are, some of the first figures that Star Wars fans fell in love with, and obviously some of the first characters that brought that world to life. So it's definitely on our radars. I think at the same time, there's just so much new media, and we know that fans are clamoring for those figures. But that being said, I think we'll definitely see some more Cantina at some point in the future. So it's definitely on our minds.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
It's definitely on their minds. Well, good, because it's definitely on our minds, as it always is. Yeah, I mean, obviously they can't speak to anything that's not announced, but I do like how Patrick threw in that the Cantina, did show up in the OT in A New Hope, and it's also New Entertainment. And, as we've heard from them in the past, this always improves the chances of things being made. And when you see it at multiple points throughout Star Wars Entertainment. So I think that's a really good sign, personally. Maybe this means we will get an actual Mos Eisley Cantina playset down the road. And, we do have a lot of figures to populate it with, like I, alluded to in the previous question. But, yeah, we need to see more of them. There's still more to be made in both scales, especially the Black Series. There's a lot of room for Black Series. But, the Vintage Collection really needs to see that kind of completed. And as I've said before, the Tonicas are some of the more prominent characters in that scene. So they really need to do the Tonica sisters. By the way, if you haven't done the petition yet, please sign our Time for Tonica petition. I will throw a link down here in the description after the studio is over. Please go and sign it so that we can continue demonstrating that it's time for Tonica. All right, you guys, so that will do it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Hasbro and Let's Keep PR for making this Q&A session happen. I always love participating in them. Thank you to Patrick. Thank you to Chris. We don't always get the answers we want. We don't always get a complete answer, complete picture. But I think when we do these, we get little tidbits of news where they become available, or we get a little bit more insight into Hasbro's decision-making process, into their rationale behind doing certain things, and learning how they're working behind the scenes to improve this hobby for us Star Wars collectors. So really great stuff. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments what your biggest takeaway from this Q&A session was, and what do you want to continue to see from Hasbro. Be sure to subscribe to Victoria's Cantina if you're not already. Smash that like button, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We're doing it all. Subscribe to the Cantina Chatter podcast and the Vintage Collection podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. New episode of Cantina Chatter next week. And don't forget to tune into Cantina Cocktail Hour every Friday at 4 p.m. PST, where I invite a guest to come along and talk our favorite hobby alongside a nice beverage. So this week it's going to be John Miko from the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Facebook group. We're going to have a great chat. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm sure we're going to talk the things that we learned during these Q&A sessions that we just had. So stay tuned for that. Again, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.